I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
Hi.
Hello.
Super excited about today.
Yeah, man, fun guest. We have Michelle Clunie from Queer as Folk. I think most people know her from. And more recently, I think she's done a little stint on Teen Wolf, the reboot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. And she's like a super mom.
I'm so excited. I think she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been following her social media.
Yeah.
Not easy being super mom.
I know. Her kid's so cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God,
Adorable.
he's such a well-rounded little guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I spent most of the day doing gardening because it's getting nicer here in London.
Change of season. I miss that so much.
Oh my God. It was my grass was so tall that I had to empty the thing twice. And you know how small my yard is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like I all of a sudden our brick wall looks like so much bigger.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome. Your backyard is so adorable. I love your backyard.
Very cute. As a matter of fact, Stanley, Hazel's gardener,
Mhm.
and he helps us out all the time too. He brought over Hazel's old, I guess it's like a gazebo. It's got like a
Mhm.
metal frame,
Yeah.
and like a tarp. So
Uh-huh.
I we're gonna try and put that up soon, and then this way it'll cut, the way the sun beats on our window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll help. And
Absolutely.
then also we found a little air conditioner, like a real air conditioner. Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of work. So we got to have an electrician come. It needs a dedicated outlet, and maybe this summer won't be so bad. All right.
Not like a Rosie Jr., huh?
Yeah. Rosie can still stay upstairs. We just need something for downstairs. All right, we're going to let Michelle in.
Yay.
Hey. Now she may just be doing audio.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Oh, if we don't see her, then she's doing audio.
There she is.
I made it.
Hi. We were just talking about what a super mom you are, because we were saying we follow your.
It's so hard. Let me tell you, it's first of all, I gotta take my jacket off. I was gonna wear this nice little jacket, but I think I'm having a hot flash. So let me just,
No worries.
that's not gonna work. There we go. Whew. I'm a mom to an 8-year-old boy. He's so cute. He's so sweet. I got so lucky. I don't know. I did something right in my life because it me this angel. Like the other day I was crying because it's just, yeah, I'm still homeschooling. It's been 3 years.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow.
Ashley and I are both like, done. We are done. We'll never homeschool again. We are like, that's it. And I just started crying. I was like, I'm so sorry, sweetie. We're going to get you in school next year. And he's like, Mom, don't look at everything you've done wrong. Look at everything you've done right.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He's 8. He's 8. He's
So mature. Oh my
showing
God.
off the wisdom. Oh God.
And he said that to me, and immediately it stopped me cold, because
Yeah.
it was so true, first of all. And
Yeah.
then I realized too, that's how I speak to him. And
Yeah.
so it comes,
Yeah.
kids speak to others and they speak to themselves the way you speak to them.
Yeah. That's
He's
true.
so like well-rounded, like it seems like he travels so good, and he does
Yeah.
karate, and he's got the
Yeah.
great line, these great observations.
Zinger. Dingers. I'm talking like one time he walked through the living room too, and he has this like, I don't know if it's like an inner Betty Davis or but he walked through the living room. He goes, lies, lies, all lies. And I was like, it must just be like in the DNA to be dramatic, you know, that kind of like
Exactly.
the love of drama. I remember when he was about, I think he was 2.5. He was just starting preschool and he was in the den and he was looking for the remote control. And he was running around. He goes, where's the Margaret Cho? Where's the Margaret Cho? And I thought he was saying Margaret Cho. And I thought, oh, and I thought, God, my son wants to know where Margaret Cho is. I said, it just must be natural, you know, that he's born into, he's born into this like knowingness of Margaret Cho. And I figured it out. I know it sounds silly, but I figured it out. He was saying remote control, but
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love just the little dips and dabs that you post with them, it's fantastic. Is it,
Thanks.
how do you find it? Like, was being a mom something that was always in the cards?
Always. Oh,
Yeah.
I had a plan. Oh no, I wanted to have kids by the time I was 30. You know how you're a
Yeah.
teenager, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have an Oscar by the time I'm 30, and then I'm gonna have a kid, I'm gonna get married, then I'm blah 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 blah.
Right.
Then life happens and some things turn out better than expected. And some, and I always wanted to have a child. And I just, I think my last real chance in like a more like whatever you want to call it, getting married and having a child situation was with this guy I was living with for 5 years, and I couldn't do it. We were set to get married. I pulled the plug. I got cold feet and I realized that I would be miserable. He just really got on me for like everything I did. Meanwhile, I was paying for everything. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to die in this. I'm going to die in this relationship. And so after 5 years, I just said, I can't marry you. I'm sorry. And I hope he doesn't listen to this, but I was dying. And I think that it's okay to do that. It's okay. I always tell whoever comes to me, my nieces, younger women, I'm like, look, if it's okay if you're going forward and you just take a left. It's okay.
You got to go with your gut. You got to go.
Yeah. I woke up one morning and I had an elephant on my chest and I felt like I was having a panic attack. And I said, you got to go. And that was that was that.
You got to go.
Did you have a problem about that? Was he like, oh, did he like give you a problem? Like, you're killing me. I don't want to leave you. And,
it was not pretty. It was not, I mean, he was pissed. He was pissed. And as is usually the case, nobody wants to look at what they've done wrong. Right. I'm not a perfect person, but I do feel like I can be like, God dang, I fucked up, or I did that wrong, or I have to apologize to that person, keep my garden clean. But most often when you're in a breakup, it's like, I'm the victim. It's like, no.
Right. That's true. That is so true. My therapist tells me you have to be okay with knowing the other person is probably not gonna, they're probably gonna hate you. They're probably, at least for a while, you have to be okay with walking away and without them liking you anymore. Like, you have to be okay with that. And maybe with them accusing you of being the villain in the situation. Even if it's not the truth.
Yeah.
Especially now, we're living in a very accusatory, you're the villain, I'm the victim society.
Oh my God, everything is so,
say something to someone
polarized.
and they go into a panic attack, and then it becomes all about them. And it's like, okay, so I'm now in a situation where I can't say anything. I can't stand up for my
right.
But it's very it's an interesting time we live in, and I people always say that, but I check in with my mom. She's 90 and she's like, no, this is a really interesting time. Particular kind of interesting time.
Your parents are fantastic too. I honestly, I love your mom. You just posted a picture for Mother's Day. So adorable. Oh my God.
90. She's 90. She's 90. And Oh God, it's like it's when she was 80, I called her up crying, go, "You just turned 80, you're gonna die someday." My mom's like, "Well, I'm not dying anytime soon." It's really doesn't work for the schedule.
My
And
mom's the opposite. My mom's the opposite. She calls me up and she goes, "I'm 77. I'm not gonna be here much longer." And I'm like, I don't think that's what you that's not how it works. You don't get to
does she guilt
choose.
you? Does
Yeah.
she guilt you? Yeah.
Um,
Mom is 90 also.
yeah, no, she doesn't guilt me too much. It's
Yeah.
hard on her because of the she used to, love coming here to visit, but those long haul flights are too much,
Oh,
and she's got MS, so she's got
oh,
very little stamina, and
oh,
it's, it really takes its toll. So I do the back and forth, now, like that's me, like every 3-4 months I try and go
nice.
back for a month or 3 weeks or whatever I can jam
Yeah.
it there,
Yeah. Soak her up.
Yeah, yeah,
Soak her
it's
up.
like exactly spend a little time together, when she's not sleeping. She gets up at
Oh,
noon, takes a nap at 2. So there's a small window,
I
sleeping,
yeah.
think that's
eating.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Great that your mom doesn't give you the guilt though, because I get the guilt.
Oh,
I
Julie, I've
Yeah.
been with you, man. I've been with you when that phone rings.
don't
Holy
worry
cow.
What's it like?
Oh my God, it's don't worry about me. I'm just calling you to remind you you have a mother. And yeah, right. And I guess you
Oh,
don't miss
ouch.
me when I'm dead because you don't miss me. Yeah, that's what I get, the Italian Catholic guilt.
Yeah, my aunt was like that. My older aunt was like that a lot. That was her famous line when she would get mad at you. She would be like, "You're gonna miss me when I die," and I'm like,
Or it's like,
"I
don't
know."
come and visit me when I'm dead and buried in the funeral home. And I'm like, that's not the order, dead and buried.
Well, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something. I think every mom, practically every mom has said something like that. I'm
Yeah.
going to admit right here now, I've
Yeah.
said something like that to Dashel.
Ah,
God.
I have. I haven't said you're gonna miss me when I'm dead because he if I said that to him, he'd be like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
have said that Dashel, we have a finite amount of time on this planet,
yeah.
and you
yeah,
choose how you live it,
yeah,
and you can choose to be happy and you can choose to just like look for all the negative. And like, I mean, sometimes I do, I get, if, there's someone on the side of the street, there's a guy playing the horn the other day and, Dashel's like, what's going on there? And I was like, look, he's trying to earn some money to go get lunch,
yeah,
he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. I can not come down hard on him, but I can get really, you know, look, and there's a wide world and lots of people are living lots of different sorts of lives and we're only here for a short amount of time and we don't have a lot of time to fuck around,
yeah, yeah. It's true. It's like you got to make the most of it. You get one chance.
We get
That's
one
pretty
chance.
much it.
And I see it sink in too. I see
Yeah,
it sink in.
That's
I, I
great.
I see him register that, even when we were in Hawaii, something happened. He was upset. I was like, you know what? A lot of kids are in school right now. They're not in Hawaii.
yeah,
Okay.
Right?
If you told me I could go to Hawaii when I was 8 years old, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, oh my
yeah.
God, you're gonna take
Right,
me out.
absolutely.
We
You
were
know,
happy with Claremont, Florida. We were happy with that.
oh, we would go over to, God, where did we go? We would jump in the car and go to Vegas. That was like my dad's kind of like letting off steam. Pack the car, kids, we're getting out of town. And we'd all end up in the car with all these like suitcases and board games, and we'd be in Vegas or Reno and Circus, when that used to
Oh my
exist.
God. Yeah, that's a pretty wild. That's nice though. That's a good road trip, I think.
That was great. It was
Yeah.
those road trips. I miss those road trips. I mean, we took so many road trips growing up because we didn't have money. We didn't have the money to like just hop on a plane and fly over here. We road tripped everywhere. The first time I saw San Francisco was, on a road trip, and Vegas. We went to Detroit, Michigan to see our family there. And so I've seen a ton of America just on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. We were so stunted. Like I grew up in Niagara Falls and
Did
I used to
you?
go to
I want to take Dashiell there.
oh, it's so nice, but do it on the Canadian side. Definitely do it on the
Really? Okay, good to know. Yeah.
yeah, the American side's like
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just bad city management. So it's just not
Oh,
not
gotcha.
as nice
Okay.
as Canada is, like
Yeah.
pristine and clean, you know. But we never went anywhere. And if we did, it was like on a budget airline where you brought your own lunch.
Oh, yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, right, right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was yeah, I mean, not much, but I think I lucked out because like I did live in Florida, right, Jay, for like
Right.
25 years and
Yeah.
then got to move to London. And before that I was like 40-ish when I moved here and I didn't even have a passport. Like
Oh,
I didn't have a
really?
passport until 2009. Like it
Oh,
wasn't in the cards. Like I wasn't if
this
you would have
wasn't right.
yeah, if you would have asked me when I was 25, would I be living in another country? I'd be like, no.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'd
yeah.
be like, serious. But
How is that? How is that living? I mean, how do you like it?
uh it's got its pros and cons,
Sure.
cons mainly the food. Um
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I love our little house. I love where we live, like outside of London. I love our
Yeah.
little green space, and I love that everything is in walking distance, like
Oh,
dentist, doctor, grocery store, hairdresser,
wow. Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
yeah.
That's
I don't have
lovely.
to drive. I don't even want to drive. I don't even have a license over here. I'm cool. I'm totally cool with
Hey,
it. Yeah,
wow, you can take your soul with you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like wallet, phone, keys, out the door. Like boom, I'm good to go.
That's
Like,
lovely.
yeah,
That's
just like
lovely.
it's nice to be able to like this is gonna sound so stupid to just like throw your sneakers on, walk out the door, go get a nice loaf of bread from the bakery, and
Mm,
go home. Like it's just so simple. It's a
yeah,
very, very simple way of life. I will say that.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
nice. That's
Yeah,
a return to the simple, the simplicity. I mean, and for right now, it feels, I mean, it sounds lovely because everything seems very complicated right
it's my
now.
heart. You
No,
know,
it breaks my heart too. I got to tell you, I've cried at night about our country because, I love this country so much. I can't tell you. I love it on so many levels. Like I love it geographically because I have seen it all. I mean, I've drove through the Florida Keys. I've danced my way through the alleys of New Orleans with Taya, my co-star. Bring me
yeah,
2 in the morning. I've been to like every state and I've enjoyed lobster in Maine and my parents met in Arizona and I grew up in Oregon. I live in Southern California. Like I really feel like geographically I have a handle on this beautiful country. My sister pioneered Alaska. I mean, it there's
wow,
that. And then there's just I don't know, what I grew up with was the American dream. It was alive and well,
yeah,
and anything felt possible.
Mhm.
And at least to me, I'm not saying everyone grew up with that because I understand,
yeah,
all the problems we have in America. But that's the America that I understood that we were at least fighting for, at least going towards.
yeah,
And I don't, I mean, look, for the first time, usually America is about expanding rights. And for the first time, our rights as women contracted.
oh my
Yeah.
God,
That was
Like,
shocking.
in a blink of an eye.
blink
And
of an eye. And
yeah,
so where are we? Now we are contracting rights, contracting freedom. And that is what we export is freedom,
Right.
optimism,
Yeah.
innovation. This is who we are. And so I'm getting chills, but I feel like we are losing who we are, our
yeah.
identity as a
Yeah.
country. And
And then took it to lawmakers who went, and we'll take rights away too, and healthcare for trans people. And we'll bring abortion, we'll squeeze abortion rights back down. And it's just like, oh my God, it all happened so quickly, you know?
so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, I quickly, definitely, at the same time, it was almost like watching a car crash in slow motion. Like it was so fast and
Yeah.
slow. It was, I still, I don't know what the answer is. This is the problem is I see a lot of people upset. I don't know what the answer is. And even look in our industry with the strike that's going on.
Writers strike. Oh my God. That's
Where
gonna
is
bubble over too. Like I feel like, musicians, actors, it's all coming.
It's
Yeah.
all coming, and it has to come because the model right now doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
broken,
You can't even
and
earn a living wage.
you have
Like
to.
I mean, that's ridiculous. They can't earn a living wage. And then they're taking money from actors they're cutting actors' salaries. Like I
Oh,
just,
and it's doing it, and it's, there's a couple things. There's like the CEOs are getting 40-50 million dollars a year. And then also I have a problem with an actor getting 20 million a picture,
yeah,
and then they're diming everyone else. I think there's
right.
just got to be some sort of balance. You know, you want to say to everyone, let's just all get along,
I know, yeah. If it were
simple.
only that easy, right?
If it were only that easy. And I don't know what the answer is. I will tell you, I'm doing an event with Lindsay Dougherty, she's the head of the local Teamster Union. And she's this fabulous lesbian covered in tattoos with a tattoo of Jimmy Hoffa on her left arm. And she does not mince words. Like she's very much, the F-bombs are flying. And did this one talk a couple weeks ago. And she said, I don't know where she was speaking, but she said, you know, when the writers strike, our trucks will not move. And I thought, and they're not going to move. And she was like, and I thought to myself, this is who we need right now. This woman
Yeah.
needs to run for president because she means what she says and she says what she means. And you can believe her when she says something.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of people talking out both sides of their mouth, and I'm tired of people not taking action. You know, let's get the AR-15s off the streets.
Yeah.
What is hard about that?
Honestly, do you need those for hunting?
Oh,
Do you
and
need those for personal safety?
this is the thing. People say, well, it's to protect us from the government, or don't take away our arms. I'm like, if the government wants you, they're going to get you, baby.
Yeah,
They've got enough to, like, you know, if they're looking for you, your AR-15 is not going to help you anyway. I mean, it just
exactly.
doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. These groups, it's just like you think they're in these little pockets, you know, of Midwest America, but now it's like everywhere that there's little militia camps. And you know, like every episode I watch of something on television is about a militia, you know, that's like stealing fertilizer and they're going to make a bomb. And I'm like, oh my God, every program, stop watching the NCISs. It's the truth though. I mean, like
I see
out of headlines.
Michelle, about what used to be I grew up, my dad came from Sicily and he came here when he was 15 right after World War II. And I grew up with that same America's the greatest country in the world. He was such a patriot and so proud to be an American. And if he were alive today to see
Yeah.
what was going on in the country, like I just can't imagine how he would feel, because that's exactly what you were talking about, how you grew up and you saw the whole country and what you grew up to be proud as to be an American. And from what I heard my whole life, my dad used to carry a little flag in his pocket all the time and a copy of the Constitution in his wallet, a little copy. And yeah, I can only imagine what you know, I'd hate to think what he would think if he were here to see what's happening.
Jay, is that what made you tour all the army bases when you did your music tour?
Yes, I did. And my dad was alive when I did that. He was
Oh,
so
that's sweet.
proud of me. When I got to sing at Lucas Oil Stadium at the Colts halftime show,
Yeah.
he would just watch that YouTube video over and over. He was
Cute.
well. Yeah, he was already sick when I started doing that, and he was so proud of the video.
Oh,
Yeah, and he would just tell me, "You did with his Italian accent. Look at what you did. You singing your song in front of 60,000 people."
Oh, that's so sweet.
that is cute.
So proud of that. Yeah.
You know, I hear you. My dad passed away too, and my dad just, you know, I found this letter. It was like what is that? Like a ledger, and online, and it said my grandfather came over from Scotland. William Armstrong Clunie, 10 years old, and he could read, write, and he was, you know, could do machinist work. And, you know, it was very sweet. And I was like, and he was on the SS Transylvania. And, you know, you think about this, and he came, you know, everyone, you know, he was coming from Scotland for a better life. And then my dad left Jersey for Arizona for a better life. And then he went to Portland, Oregon for a better life. And, you know, it's just, there's something about that pride in country.
Yeah.
I feel is, you know, it's missing. We're broken. And it breaks my heart because there's so much good here.
Yeah.
And yet there's a big group of people that just are standing in our way. And look, I don't want there to not be a Republican Party. In my family alone, I have Republicans, Democrats, Independents, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's something great about being able to sit around a dinner table and grow up and talk about all these issues and in an intelligent way without getting upset.
Right.
And I like that. That's what America's about too. Everyone
Yeah.
gets to have a different point of view.
Yeah.
But this cancer that we've been infected with by Trump has turned it into this like evil, crazy,
Yeah.
mean-spirited, and it trickles down to even, you know, I look at Dashiell's life and I look at, you know, even the families and people in West Hollywood. You'd be shocked at how many Republicans are in the most liberal city in the country, West Hollywood. You would be shocked at the things we've heard, like, you know, why are you wearing a mask? You know, I'm like, we're in West Hollywood. Really? We got to deal with this here?
Oh my God.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Or
I think I remember my friend Jill Bennett. She's an actor out there.
oh
and
yeah.
she said the same thing. Like her and her wife were here in May. And yeah, she was saying how surprising it is. You know,
Talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
about the mask thing, getting made fun of, getting yelled at in the street. And, you know.
Oh, yeah. Or pronouns are a big one. I hear a lot of people who are Republicans, you know, I don't think they've ever watched Queer as Folk, and so they don't recognize me, and so I'm just another mommy to them, and I get to hear these conversations. And this one mom, I remember, she's like, you know, we had to pull our kids out of the school, you know, they're teaching him that he could marry anyone he wanted to, he could marry a man. And I was like, you know, if he's not gay, he's not going to marry a man, so, you know. There's that. I mean, it's really simple. Dashiell, I told him, Dashiell, what transgender was when he was 3. We were at Hugo's Cafe, you know, and in West Hollywood, and we're having brunch, and I don't even know how it came up. I think my friend Lindsay was going to join us, and she's transgender, or I can't remember. And I told him, it's a really simple conversation. Some people are born in the wrong body and they want to fix it so that they can feel settled and whole. And he goes, oh, that's great. I'm a boy, you know, and that was it. Like, he understood it. He declared he's a boy. He got the right body. Awesome. Moving on. Like, it's not a big deal. But
I know there's a teacher in Florida that's under investigation for showing a Disney movie that had a gay character in it. Did you see that? It had to be on the news over there, right?
Yeah, I had some people come over to the house and they brought a movie, and they said, it's a nice family movie. It's just very simple. And you know, there's no complication. I'm like, what are you saying? What do you mean it's a nice family movie?
White.
I think it was like Lyle Crocodile. And I think she was trying to say that it's like, it won't confuse the children. I'm like, Dashiell knows everything. He switched to diversity. He's not confused in the least. He understands pronouns. My mom's 90 and she's like, what the hell is up with the pronoun issue? What's the big fucking deal? You know? And she's like, if someone wants to be he, fine. They, fine. She, fine. I have no problem with it. And I said, because Mom, Republicans have to find something to pick apart because their arguments on how to live aren't very strong. So they have to attack these things that are, it's just, it's maddening.
I was watching something. It was probably Anderson Cooper, but it's like, I have to listen to him to fall asleep. Like it's something about, it's something about
you to sleep.
his voice is just very soothing and muffled, and I can barely understand what's happening, and I just end up falling asleep. But he had on Pete Buttigieg's husband, Chasten, and they were talking about the Florida teacher, and he said, you know, my biggest argument is that I grew up not seeing anything gay, and it didn't make me straight.
Yeah.
Watching or reading something is not going to make a child gay. Because if it worked that way, I would be a straight man. That's all I saw. And I was like, what a simple.
Well, I say to some people, it's like, I simulated lesbian sex for 5 years on TV and I'm still straight. You can't well, that's actually, I have had one relationship with a woman.
So there it is. It was research.
So, you know,
like, yeah, but it's, you know, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, because you said your mom was 90, but a couple of years, back, because I met you in 2004.
Right?
No, 2004,
Florida.
2005. You guys were coming. We did Issues Over the Rainbow, like
Yeah, I remember.
FM radio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was like the first time I met Sharon Gless too. And then
Mhm.
I ended up working for her when I first moved here in London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
long weird road. Long weird road. But
Know that.
well, she
Oh,
was doing Round Heeled Woman. I was
okay.
like a
That's right.
PA, yeah, for a little
Yeah.
bit. And she's just a doll. But and another one who's such a vocal advocate,
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
poor woman. Like, everybody thought she was a lesbian from Cagney and Lacey days,
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah, they did.
yeah. But
Right.
that's just it, is that you can be on a TV program, you can act, it's what you do,
Right.
like that's just it. Like I just feel like I said before, everything is so black and white
Oh,
with
it's just ridiculous.
Republicans. There's no, this is because you can't reason with them, you can't logic with them. But when I heard Mr. Buttigieg say that, I was just like, shouldn't that be enough? Like,
Yeah.
couldn't you say that to any Republican who's fighting to have books taken out of school
Ah,
and,
oh,
shutting down any kind of talk about sexuality until from
from
kindergarten
periods.
to
Let's
senior
not
year?
talk about periods. The most scary time of your life. I remember starting my period and going,
Yes,
what is going on? And
yes.
Uh,
not being able to talk. I talked to my best friend, Kelly Knight. I said, what's going on? She's like, you started your period. Let's get you a pad. Awesome. I mean, it's like, all you have are your girlfriends, and you have your mom and dad, of course, but your girlfriends are what, like, you learn about things together. And to
Right.
put any stop on that communication or any suppression on those communication lines is it's so unhealthy. First of all, this is the problem, is that what they want is so unhealthy. I mean, a friend of mine, his sister works at Miami Hospital, where a lot of kids in Florida go to get gender affirming care because it's the
Oh,
liberal
yeah.
hospital, right?
Yeah.
And it's bringing up all sorts of issues, like what can the doctors do? What is within their legal right? How do they take these children and help them with their hormones so they're not just dropping off a cliff? I mean, these are scary, frightening issues,
Yeah.
and it can really harm you mentally and physically. And it's already scary. I mean, I always say, like, when I gave birth, it was frightening. It was fucking frightening. Let me tell you, birth is violent. It's going to be violent no matter what you do. And mine ended up being just nuts with an emergency C-section. And I'm privileged. I had two doctors. I was at Cedar Sinai. I understand I'm privileged. And I was still frightened because
Yeah.
you don't know how it's going to come out. You're like,
All
am I going to
unknown.
split
It's
open? Am
all
I
the
going to be like,
unknown. Yeah.
my vagina going to fall out? Like, am I ever going to, it's a scary thing. And so it's just, they're harming so many people. They're harming women. They're harming, transgender children. They're harming other children with, not being able to talk about their period. It's all about harming almost as many people as possible.
Right. And
And
it's a weird thing that they blanket it all in conservative Christian. You know what I mean? It's like, I really don't think that's a good enough argument, because I mean, religion is the cause of most wars, most deaths, and it seems like that's what they want to fall back on. And it doesn't. How does an AR-15 figure into you know
Christianity.
conservative Christianity? Yeah. Or
But
denying
twisted
someone
their
health care?
minds. Yeah, they've twisted their minds enough to make these connections
Yeah.
and to somehow get this sort of, I don't know if it's a cult like way of
It
thinking.
feels like a weird level of
Like a cult.
Scientology. Yeah.
Cult. I mean, it feels like they have brainwashed them into making these connections and that they're totally fine. And
Yeah.
that's what happens in a cult, after a while, it's like here, here, here. And before you know it, it's like, oh yeah, gun, Christianity, killing, love. Yes, this all makes sense.
I know.
It's
And it doesn't. It
it's
doesn't
very
to the outside, to the rest of us, people who have the ability to logic and reason,
yeah.
I think that's just it, is that they shut down. They don't want to hear anything. It's terrible. Like, I always tell my mom when I'm coming home, especially for a holiday, my stepdad's family is very Republican. I'm like, no, no politics, no politics, or I'm gonna punch someone in the face, and I don't want to be that person, but I have it in me. So no politics. So yeah, we have to just shut it down.
Yeah.
It's
I just
terrible. I
want
think it's ruining families too.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
My family is not the same since Fox News because, we grew up in a time where we could talk to each other. And my sisters were Republicans. My brother is the most progressive Democrat you'll ever meet in your life. Beyond me. He's like, if you could
Beyond me.
much the same. He's very liberal. My mom and dad are just Democrats, and so blue dogs, I guess you would say. But I grew up when there was a time when it was fine. That was just how it was. And no one, like, we didn't try to take each other down.
Yeah, never get vicious, now
vicious. And then it just got to a point where every time I went to my sister's house, one of my sisters, she would always ask me about Nancy Pelosi's desk. I guess it cost $18,000, and she would ask me about this desk like over and over. And I was like, I don't know Nancy Pelosi. I didn't help her pick out the desk. I'm like, I can't answer to that. I don't even know what you're talking about. But once again, it's just Fox News, just like drilling these talking points. Whatever they can, like strands they can grab onto. Nancy Pelosi's desk, pronouns, and it's in our family. We don't do the holidays together like we used to, and it makes me sad. And I'm not lying. There have been days when I felt like doing a class action suit against Fox News.
I know.
Because and Trump. I mean, they've harmed families. They've harmed children. They've not only have they torn apart the fabric of this country, but they've torn apart families for sure.
Oh yeah,
Can't just be ours.
They literally ruined journalism, like ruined journalism.
Families that are torn apart.
Yeah. I know families that were torn apart by that. Yes, by the politics, that they exactly don't do holidays together. They don't speak to each other. Families that did holidays together for years, like their whole life, 20, 30 years, suddenly we're not doing holidays. And a lot of what started the divide was the mask wearing and the people that didn't want to wear the masks, and
that became so political, didn't it?
And then when obviously when the election, when the election came around, and
I know I'm scared. This is an election. I mean, it's coming again. It feels like it's going to be a repeat.
Like we were talking about the America we grew up in. There was a time when being a gentleman was valued. My father always said,
right.
Gentleman for those moments when you feel like being anything but. And so like there was a value on that, and I don't see that anywhere
coming back. No,
I don't see people. I was in Beverly Hills the other day. I had to take Dashiell to the dentist, and I mean, people are just cutting each other off. Nobody smiles. It's just like, I'm like, oh, give me a fucking break. Your problems are not that big. Some people have real problems. You could, at the very least, you could be a gentleman and you could smile. And I just found it to be, there's the lost art of being a gentleman, I was on the phone last night with a friend of mine. He's an FBI agent in New York. And we are like husband, wife, phone buddies. Like we talk all the time, and we have great conversations. And he tells me what's going on in the FBI. And I always ask a ton of questions. And I said, I feel like we have lost, common decency, gentlemen, being able to have conversations with different points of view, being able to agree to disagree. And it's so frustrating to me, and it's so heartbreaking to me, because as you're talking about your father, my father was a gentleman, and he believed that you're a stand-up guy and you do the right thing. And when I say that, I'm talking about women too, gentle women. That you just do the right thing, and you do right by people, and you don't try to cheat people, and you're a person of your word. And there's like all these like ethics that I grew up with that I just thought they're inherently American, because I grew up in America. So I thought this is just kind of like who we are. We're not here to cheat people. We believe in standing in line. We rush something and try to go like this. We believe in a queue, we have, that thank you from, England. And it is democratic, right? To stand in a line, to be fair, to all these things that I just feel are breaking down. And I guess that is when you see a society breaking down, is when you start to lose those manners, that basic common decency. And that's what it worries me. It worries me from, with my son. And I don't want to sound pessimistic, because there's got to be an answer, but there needs to be a big shift. And I don't know what the answer is. There's got to be one. I just don't know what it is, because I feel like too, you know, remember when we were fighting for equality marriage,
Yeah.
we fought in the streets and we protested and we threw parties. And I remember going to Trader Joe's and getting a case of wine and, going to, I got my friend's brownstone and we threw the fundraiser for the March on Washington. And like, we did things and they worked. Right. And
Yeah.
so sometimes I'm at night, I'm, laying in bed, I've had too much coffee. I'm in bed at night. I'm thinking, okay, so that worked. We got equality marriage and I'm thinking of the steps. So how do we use that as a template to make things work now? But the problem is I feel like there has been activism. We have been in the streets protesting, but nothing's changing. It's like a gridlock.
Yeah.
Government's
No action comes of it,
there's no action. And we got equality marriage, and I'm thinking, okay, so who spearheaded that? We had people talking to Obama. He was evolving. He knew he had to use that language so that people didn't think that he was in for equality marriage from the get-go. I understand it all, but now I don't see that working. I don't see the activism working the way it used to. I hear a lot of noise. Like I see a lot of people on social media, myself
Mhm.
included, making noise, great arguments, protests, but it's not adding up to anything.
Right. You're
Well,
right. It stops at the steps. I always, like
yeah,
it gets
right.
all the way and bigger. I mean, the Women's March, that was like one of the biggest things I've ever seen,
Yeah, but where does it
simultaneously in
go?
all 50 states. And then
Work.
how could that lead to overturning Roe versus Wade? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like we did all
yeah.
that and it
Yeah.
still happened. Like it there,
But that's
you're
what's
right.
confusing for me is that we're doing everything that we should be doing, that I think we should be doing, and it's not working. So what is broken in it?
But I
Is it
just don't see things happening fast enough. And I don't know if I'm just being impatient or, like I've over doom scrolled now. You know what I mean? Like now I can't get myself on the positive side of things. And
But
I
it could be
don't
too
know.
that I've talked to a friend of mine works for Jill Biden, and it could be that Biden's waiting for his second term. And then once he gets in, because if he gets too political right now, if he does any executive orders that are too,
Yeah. Yeah.
explosive, let's say, then he's not going to get that second term. But if he can just kind of like keep cool, get that second term, and then maybe we could make some real progress. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's the
And
hope, isn't it? Because not
that
much
is,
can be done in 4 years. Like
yeah.
I get that. The media right now is terrible. It's on every level.
Well, they
You
call
could,
Dianne Feinstein ghoulish. Look, we all know she needs to pass the baton. I don't know what she's thinking, but to call her ghoulish,
yeah,
it's spirited.
yeah,
I mean, to me,
terrible.
I look at her and I say, here's a woman that she just loves what she does. And I know everyone when I say this are like, oh, you love her. And I'm like, I do. I do love her. She's 90 years old. She's committed her entire life to public service and she just can't let go because she just loves it so much. And
Yeah,
she loves the country so much. And she was there when Harvey Milk died. And it's like, this is her whole life has been
yeah,
this. She
yeah.
can't let go. And is that such a bad thing? And yes, she needs to let go. Look, it's really messed up that she hasn't. But to call her ghoulish, it's a clickbait culture, And that was New York Magazine that used the word ghoulish. And it was written by a woman.
Oh God.
Yeah. I was like,
Honestly, that's what I mean. Like the media, their involvement in politics is so extreme. Yeah, it's so extreme. But then today I was just watching something about Harry and Meghan getting run down by paparazzi in New
what
York.
was that? What was that?
They were leaving that event that they went to, and they got chased by paparazzis, but they did everything right. They switched cars. They had a plan to get out of there the back way, all that other stuff. But motorcycle paparazzis, moped paparazzis chased them down, just like with Diana. But they were going up on the sidewalks and putting pedestrians at risk. Is it just for pictures? I mean, I don't even get it. Like I've never felt that way, like about an actor or an actor. Like I've never been that extreme, but it's never been my job.
Yeah.
Like for paparazzi to get a certain shot could change their lives monetarily, but at the risk of killing someone seems a bit extreme, like it's just ridiculous.
I can tell you some stories,
I bet,
and to get emails from reporters asking about my birth, asking about this, asking about that. And the good part is that I have a really, I draw boundaries well. And so I think, and I've also taught Dashiell, I've really kept him really sheltered, sheltered, and yet he knows a bit of things. And so I ride that balance of like giving him enough so that when he's a teenager or starts Googling, he's not going to be like, oh my God, and have a breakdown.
Right.
So I think little pieces to chew on at a time. And over time, he figures things out. And yet I've also managed to keep him sheltered. But I've had TMZ and this and that and this. And for the most part, I would say people have been respectful. I don't think I breed. I think some people may want that, and so they seek it out. I think sometimes if you remain boring, people just go, "Oh, it's not that interesting."
Yeah,
I think that. Yeah, I think if people like, or if you lay low, like people are going to go after the people that are craving that spotlight, that are putting themselves in situations to get the attention.
yeah.
I think. I mean, I don't know, but
I think
I feel
so.
it, like I do. I mean, I think about like a lot of actors on most of the programs I watch are never in headlines or never in, they're
Yeah.
very low key professional actors. They do their job and they go home, it's the Kardashians in the world,
put themselves out
sucking the
there.
life
Right?
out of-
I think, who was it? It was my old agency that wanted me to meet with the producers of Beverly Hills Housewives, the Real Housewives of Beverly
Oh
Hills.
Lord.
And it was like right after Dashiell was born. And I just said, well, it's a lovely thought. And the money was great. But I said, I don't want my son around that. We got enough going on. It's like,
Yeah.
I just don't. And I'd be that person that would come on the show and I would just rip everyone anew. Like, I would be like, why don't you go do some activism? Go feed the homeless down at the soup kitchen. I don't care about your manicure. I mean, I would just be like,
Yeah.
everyone would hate me. And I
Exactly.
just wouldn't fit.
That's why they asked.
Yeah, that's why they asked. Yeah, they're like, you're the perfect person to hate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
so I guess I could have gone down that road,
Oh,
but I
that's
think
so intrusive though, day and night.
it's so intrusive. And
Oh.
also I knew that we would already have our challenges. And I just wanted to raise Dashiell really feet on the ground and and take him all around the world in many different ways. I mean, Dashiell's been on private planes, he's been on helicopters, and he's also flown coach at 2 o'clock in the morning to go see my dad in the hospital. And,
Oh, yeah.
so eat pizza on the side of the street corner, sitting on a park bench, or, I've given him a lot of different experiences with a
Yeah.
lot of different people. And I think it's good for him. And I think it's the way you should be raised, especially if you have the chance to grow up and maybe do a little something in the world,
Yeah.
maybe get into activism himself, maybe donate and work towards cleaning up the ocean, cleaning up this. I think it's good to get out and see the world so you have an understanding of what people are going through
Oh,
on a
definitely.
real level, and I
Yeah.
tell him, and I know this sounds, I probably sound like a horrible mom, but he has a right to complain about certain things sometimes, sure. But I also say, look, there are also kids in bomb shelters in Ukraine who
Yeah.
just said goodbye to their parents.
Yeah.
They don't know when they're coming back. I
Right.
Yeah.
said, there's a lot going on in the world right now on many levels. And we have to see, what are we grateful for? What have we been given? What can we do with it? How can we help? But to have that overview, so it puts things in perspective, especially in a city that, like, there's a reason why I haven't entered the school system. I
Yeah.
just, we were at preschool and there was this 5-year-old kid saying to someone, hey, I like your Lamborghini. Well, I don't want my son to be raised around that. And
Yeah.
yet here we are in the middle of it all. And I'm homeschooling still. But I think that he has a great chance. Like I said, I think he has a big heart. And I think if I can keep him pure in that, I can help guide him to maybe make something happen in the world, help make some changes,
Yeah. I mean, the future is him. You know what I mean? Like that is the future. Like I can't even imagine what it will be like, but I do think that, you're showing him enough that he's not in a bubble. And that's
He's not in a
really
bubble at
important.
all.
Yeah.
And anytime I feel a bubble, I break it. I just break it. I'm like, because I don't live in a bubble. And I think that, he's got to know about, he's really into marine biology. And I said, well, there's a chance by the time you're a teenager that they'll have the majority of the plastic out of the ocean, because a lot of people are working on it, but there's going to be these little tiny microplastics that are all over the place. And so how do you solve that? So I'm trying to like point him in the direction of like, this may be solved, but then this bigger problem is going to exist, or things like that, we talk about.
Yeah, that's the age. That's the age to get him. Like my wife's nephew in Australia is very much into like planets and NASA and all that kind of stuff. And she encourages it like crazy. She sends him books and t-shirts and NASA hats and all that kind of stuff. And he had the planets on his shirt for Halloween, and they send pictures and videos back and forth, and he's got like a real like valid interest. He goes on these rambling videos about what's out there, and
Oh, he sounds like Dashel. They'd probably get along.
yeah,
really
yeah. He's cool. He's like on the cusp of being nerdy cool.
That's Dash. Yeah, that's totally Dash.
Yeah, that's my wife.
I think kids get their they kind of feel it themselves, and if you can encourage that when they feel it. Like I have an 8-year-old nephew, and we were going to lunch one day. He came to work with me one day, and so
I love that.
I said, yeah, the day at work, take your kid to work day. And so we were on the way back, and he said, I'd like to start a hot dog stand. And I said, oh, that's nice. I said, we didn't go for hot dogs, but he just says he wanted a hot dog stand. And he said, and then I'd like to feed the homeless people with the hot dog stand. And this was just out of his head. He's got this like longing to feed the homeless people. And he said that more than once about other things too, but he wants to start Jack's Hot Dogs, and he wants every hot dog he sells, he wants a homeless person to get a hot dog. And I'm like, are they getting a drink with the hot dog? Oh yeah, they can have a soda or a water with the hot dog. But I just thought that was really out of the blue. I mean, I took him for a Happy Meal at McDonald's, right? And then he's like, he wants to start Jack's Hot Dogs, and he wants to feed the homeless. And I thought that was so sweet. But like we also like will encourage that in him when he says that. But I think it's great that you're making your son aware when he's around so much plenty that there are people that don't have that. And
and there are a lot of problems to solve. I mean, they're just this generation. I mean, right now we have a lot of problems to solve, and unless we start solving them, it's just going to progress and become more so. And so his generation has their work cut out for them. But I believe in his generation, the way Dashel talks and the way he talks about others and the way he sees the world. And I see friends of his, and I think his generation has a really, their feet on the ground, and they care, just like what you mentioned about your nephew and the hot dog stand. There's something really special about this generation.
And I think, isn't it? Like I listen to the way kids talk today, listen to 8, 9, 10-year-olds, the way they talk and what they're interested in, and their level of passion. And I think to myself, oh my God, when I was 9, my life was about like mud pies and softball and
mud pies and like Crash and I want a pink tutu.
I couldn't think of anything. Like I remember parents sitting me down in high school and saying, do you have any idea what you're anything springing to mind? Like any direction you want to go in? And I was like, nope. All my friends were shooting off and applying to colleges, and I was just
this is what's funny is, so we're in Hawaii, and Dashel cries every time we leave Hawaii. And I was talking about, Obama went to school here. And so he goes, where did he go to school? And so we're driving by the place he went to school, Punahou, by the way. And then I called the head of admissions at Punahou, because Dashel's like, I said, well, they produce leaders. They produced Obama, and they produced the guy who started up AOL. And it's a really special school. Something special is happening there. And Dash was like, I don't want to go to a school where they produce leaders. That sounds amazing. That's what. Now, I was not thinking like that. Like you said, when I was 8 years old, I was just trying to get through school, and I really wanted to just dance. I just wanted to dance. That was it. but I do see something with this generation. I don't know if it's because they have access to YouTube, but I see a lot of
Yeah.
scientific knowledge. They're
Yes.
all like mini scientists, and they're talking
Yes.
about planets, marine biology, the ecosystem and the Amazon. And, I'm thinking, and like you said, I'm like, I don't think I thought about that when I was 8 years old.
No,
I think
no. Oh my
the
God.
internet
It
was
was
a big
like,
part of the internet.
I
Yeah,
kept
I
thinking to
think
myself,
about
why can't I make a living playing volleyball? Like that wasn't even an option. Or, like it never crossed my mind to think about a sports scholarship or
Yeah.
my goal was to get out, to just get out. I hated being at school so badly.
Your goal was
Anybody leaving? Anybody got a car? Who's driving? Like
I was dancing my way out of high school. I was
you
like,
would dance.
I love dancing. I still to this day, I love dancing. I love dancing.
That was
But
that was your that was how you got started though, wasn't it?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
foot in the door through dance.
Dancing. My mom took me to my first dance class and I was like bitching and moaning. And then I took it and I couldn't stop. I was obsessed with dancing. I went on to do, tap, jazz, modern ballet. And I remember it was like the week before I was graduating high school, my friend Joe had left Portland. We were both apprenticing with the Keith Martin Ballet Oregon Dance Company, and he'd moved to New York, and it was like such a big deal. And Joe called me and he's like, I am apprenticing with the Joffrey too. I'm waiting tables. It is awesome. You got to come here. And I'm thinking, oh my God, wait tables and apprentice with a Joffrey too. I don't know. It's just like, I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. That doesn't, and all I remember is I was in the studio and this older member of the company walked in and she was so skinny. I thought she was going to pass out. And I remember thinking, I can't do it. I can't be that skinny. I can't be like, there's the stuff I saw in ballet at that time was like 16-year-olds doing coke, trying to be really skinny,
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes, starving themselves. Anorexia, bulimia was just kind of like, that was just the norm.
Yeah.
I couldn't, I was too healthy. My mom was like, I'm not going to let you do any of that. You're not going to starve yourself. And so I realized quickly that as much as I love dancing, at that time you had to be a stick. And there was no way, I've always had a booty. There was no way I was going to be a stick. I could starve myself from here until kingdom come. I'm always going to have a booty. And I just didn't want to put myself through that physically, but that was the era of Gelsey Kirkland, Suzanne Farrell, and those tiny ballerinas. And now we've got Misty Copeland and we've got a healthy, voluptuous, more, womanly.
Even like models like Ashley Graham, finally, like geez, it's about time. I was just watching one of the girls I don't know if you know the series, the Dairy Girls.
No, what is that?
They're about Irish teenagers, and it's over here, but it's made its way to the States, because of the streaming platforms. And it's like 3 seasons, and a season over here is 6 episodes, so it goes by really fast.
And now over here it's 6 episodes. Thanks, England. Thanks, Netflix.
But yeah, they're all different shapes. Like the cast is, some are curvy, some are chunky, some are tall, some are thin, some are short. But one of the women that plays a nun at their school was nominated for a BAFTA, and they were asking like, who are you wearing, or whatever, and she said in her Irish accent, like, I'm going to tell you what, I am wearing a dress off the rack because I'm not going to work with a designer that won't make a dress for my body. Not nominated for something. So it was like they'll come to her when she's nominated for something, but when she's not, they don't want to have anything to do with her. So she called them like right out, like right in the interview. And I was like, well done, man. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, so I think like it's weird that we're making these teeny tiny little strides, but we need to make like such bigger ones, but we can't not celebrate the little ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I wish that I would have, I wish what was happening in dance was happening when I was coming up,
Yeah.
or even what was happening in Hollywood. I mean, like I said, it's two steps forward, one step back. But I have, like my goddaughter. I mean, I know people, girls who are 15, 16, 18, and they're making their own short films. That was not anywhere in my mindset when I
Not
was
even
18.
in the realm of possibility, right?
I mean, I think when I studied with Milton Katselas, then I realized that I could direct, and I started directing, pieces in class, and then I got Queer as Folk. But now it's like, it's great to see young girls just like, yeah, I'm a director. Yeah, I'm writing. Yeah, I'm creating projects. Yeah, I'm creating. So I mean, there are a lot of cool things going on.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see where this writer's strike, how it all shakes down.
Oh, I know, it's got me a nervous wreck. I'm like already waiting for episodes, like, and I'm like, oh no, like, because it's weird over here the way we don't get something until the entire season of it plays out in America, then
Oh,
we get it. So we're
oh,
already like seasons
behind.
behind, yeah. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, and then there's a lull after that's over with because we're waiting for your season to finish before we
Mhm.
get it again. And I'm like, when are we even going to know if there's a writer's strike? Like if it affects that show, it's going to affect everything.
It's affecting everything. I think the whole thing is going to be turned upside down. I mean, the internet and technology, it happens, and streaming happens so fast that no one had time to catch up with the business model.
Right.
And now I think it's kind of like a moment of reckoning. Everyone's got to catch up with the business model. I mean, singers, songwriters have to be paid.
Oh yeah.
Actors have to be paid. You can't, it's squeezing the middle class to the point where a blue collar working actor used to come to the city and get their health insurance and support their family.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen like it used to
No.
at all.
No.
And they take the guest star, which is top of show, used to be 8,500, a week, or 6,500. And you could do 3, 4 and make your living for the year as a blue collar working actor and get your insurance and get some residuals. And now they take that guest star and they create a 1-day co-star part. All your scenes are shot in 1 day. And it's just the corporate model of just squeezing until, you've pinched every penny to the point where your workers and your artists cannot afford to survive. And then, game over. I mean, I don't know where they think this is going. The corporate model, it only works for corporations. It doesn't work for a thriving artistic
And
business.
corporations have wormed their way into movie making and television, and it's like, oh my God, sell your microwave somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like leave movie making to the movie makers, like I remember it on 30 Rock, like watching 30 Rock when it was, when they kind of had that fictional scenario of GE or somebody, buying in and all that. And you were like, oh my God, this is mirroring real life when you hear about this kind of stuff happening. And it's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it used to be a business of people, and an actor would walk in and audition and get to know the casting directors, and those casting directors would fight for you. I had so many casting directors fight for me to get the job because they knew me and they knew I would come in every time I was called, and I'd come in prepared, and if I didn't get the job, I'd show them something new to do with the role. And so you create these relationships, and now I have no idea who I'm auditioning for. I have no idea.
so
You sit in
weird,
a room,
right?
tape your thing. And I mean, I recognize a few names, but a lot of the new casting directors, I don't know because you're not walking in the room
Right.
anymore. And
It's
it's
very
different.
weird. Yeah.
And,
My
the
cousin,
heads of the studio, they used to be owned, by people.
right.
And we were making movies about people.
Yeah.
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 It's different. And it could be good. Maybe something will come from all of this, but I think it's good to know that if AI can replace writers and maybe actors, then AI can replace studio heads. You can save 40 million a year, because why can't AI learn how to run a studio?
Right.
And that's scary that that's happening, that AI can replace the writers. Something that could be that's so artistic could be replaced by a robot. My niece is a journalist, and she was telling me that that's a real thing in her field. They tell her every day that AI is taking over writing. I was so surprised to find that out. But
It's
they plug in what they want you to write about, and they make it into the robot does it. So, I mean, they're not doing it yet where she's working, but it's a threat.
that's
I
Oh,
believe
massive.
that far already that's happening.
it strips all kinds of character and personality and
Yeah. I mean, where's the
I don't-
art?
yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to replace humans completely in a good way. I don't think it can, but it could give you a nice first draft. It could do this, it could do that. I mean, the problem is it's here to stay. So we have to
Yeah.
figure out how to work with it. you got to figure out if AI is going to do the first draft, you got to pay some writer, any writer, whatever writer types it into the AI system, pay that person. But
Right.
some team needs to be paid. And that's also what I think the union is fighting for, or should fight for that. But it's just a different world. I mean, I think technology is just changing so quickly that we can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
The ethics of it.
True, right? The ethics of it. Exactly. Exactly.
Twilight Zones, when the people had to defend their lives that they weren't obsolete. Remember the Twilight Zones where they had to go defend and tell this person in a giant desk, you know, why they should still be living, why their life matters in the world.
Oh, that's great. That's
I
a
feel
great
like we do this every day. Like everybody.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was pulling out of, so there's a garage. I always park in this one garage in Beverly Hills. Every time I go there, if we have to go there for a doctor's appointment, I park in this one garage. And there's always the same lady there. And we have a shorthand. And, you know, the people that you go about throughout your day, it's like they create the fabric of your community. Yeah. And you see them for 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, I've been seeing the same dry cleaner for 30 years. And we don't ask each other deep questions. Just that I know their face and they know me, and we have a shorthand, and they know I get 30% off because I've been coming here for 30 years. And if they don't give it to me, I'm like, you know, my number, you know, like it's a connection, right? And so we come out of this parking garage, and the booth that she used to sit in was gone. The whole booth was gone. And there's this little thing here, and you just put your ticket in. And I pulled up, and she wasn't there, and the booth was gone. And I put my ticket in, and I didn't even put the ticket in. The bar raised, it read my license plate. I didn't even put the ticket in, and I drove out, and I thought, she was such a nice lady too. Yeah. And she gave me a thumbs up. You're good. You're good. Like, and it was a small exchange, but she was one of the people I've known for 20, 30 years, you know, and the guy at the gas station, and the person here and the person there. I love the fabric of my community. And I've always been like that. Wherever I am, I create a fabric in my community, and those are my people. And I go to the same places for 30 years, right? And she was just gone yesterday. Gone. And I know I don't mean to be so dark, but I love people so much. Yeah. I was so excited to talk to you this morning. I was so excited to meet you. I remember when we met. I think I was wearing brown cords and a denim jacket. Like, I remember.
We were looking for the smoking area at the radio station.
Yes, like, yes, exactly. I was like these tiny moments mean so much to me, and they're just being stripped away. And I'm like, where is this going? Are we going to live in pods where everything, right? Like, I feel like we need to somehow like remain people who are connected. Yeah. And we can't strip it away so much. And I know something good will come from all this. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to figure it out. It's community is really important. And that's,
oh God, is it ever?
It's weird because like here, basically it's like, I don't see a lot of people. Like I shouldn't say I don't see a lot of people, but like, it's funny to me, like, now that I don't, like, our pub closed, of course, corporation sold off the pub, like they had a chain of them, and they got worried about Brexit, the investors, and they wanted their money back. So they sold our pub to be able to pay back investors. So it's still sitting there closed up, boarded up. It's so sad. But when I walk up and down the street for something, I will inevitably see one of the customers, and they always remember, you know, and they're older. Yeah. You know, and I think it's so cute. They're even the one on the scooter is like, hey, pub girl, like, they don't pub girl.
That was so sweet. Yeah. I mean, it's like Tasty Donuts. We go to Tasty Donuts every time Dashiell gets a new belt level in Taekwondo. We go to Tasty Donuts, and I can't tell you the guy's name. He doesn't know our name, but we've been going there for years. And we go in and we get a donut. He's like, "What belt level are you?" And my son does Taekwondo, and we talk about it. We talk, and it's a tiny exchange, but I love it. I live for those little exchanges. They don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to be. But you know, the lady at the dry cleaners, you know, they own it. It's a mom and pop dry cleaners. And the woman, she makes the most beautiful jewelry. This stuff should be in Neiman Marcus, and yet she's making it and she does it. And it's like, okay, it's $30, you know, and it's this beautiful necklace. And so like, I like these little tiny exchanges mean so much to me. And I worry about that human touch, you know. And
Yeah.
yesterday it just hit me when I saw the little kiosk that she sits in was
Oh,
gone, and she was
yeah.
gone.
That's tragic. Yeah.
I'm like,
Man.
no.
All the ways we have to communicate with each other, no one talks to each other anymore.
Yeah.
There's this woman on Instagram I follow. Her name is Carrie Dressler, and she does this character called Mustang Deb, who's from the 80s. And I love her because she plays the 80s music. She's got the 80s hair, and she's on the phone, and she's supposed to be talking with Marty McFly. And this one little cousin, she's like, "Hey Marty, I need a favor. I need you to go get in the hop in the biggest DeLorean you can find, and you have to go to 2020. I have some 2023. I have some friends trapped there, and it's terrible, man. You have these little phones, but nobody talks to each other. They text these little messages. All the Pizza Huts are closed. You can't sit in the Pizza Hut, and all the Golden Girls are dead." Like, she's going through all this stuff. All the Coke tastes worse than it tastes now. But I'm like, man, that is so true. If you describe 2023 to somebody back in the 80s, it doesn't sound so great, you know?
You would never believe it.
You would never believe
it. So true. Yeah. That's what I feel like my mom struggles with. You know, like I watch my mom kind of struggle with, you know, technology, you know, progress, and you know, they still have like a cordless phone. I'm like, why?
Oh, really?
Why do you have this? Why do you have this? And you know, it'll ring and then it'll say unavailable, like, because it's supposed to tell you who's calling, you know. It just yells out unavailable.
Like, can I tell you, my mom embraces technology so much. Sometimes I will call her. She's 90 years old. I'll call her and I get a message saying, "Can I call you later?" And I'm like, oh my God, she just used that on me. She's 90 and she's like too busy to answer her cell phone.
That's hilarious.
Does she get in trouble with it? Like, my mom gets in trouble. Does she get in trouble with it? Like, do the wrong thing and be on Facebook Live and not know it? And then we're like, oh my God, she's on Facebook Live. Somebody's got to get over there. She doesn't even know it.
Maybe. I don't know. I do know. She's like, people pop up on my Facebook page. I'm like, they're just posting on your page. She's like, I don't know them. And I'm like, well, let me go and look at it. And we got trouble with her Gmail right now because I set up her account. So she needs to like get a password to get back into it. And it's like, so she gets in trouble, but she's really good about texting, calling. She likes her Apple phone, her iPhone. She's good with email. I mean, she really caught on to technology. In fact, I think she likes it. She likes her little iPad, and she
that's
really
my mom too. Yeah.
The iPad. She loves the scrolling. She likes checking out recipes, and she loves this girl, Kimberly Snyder, who lives in Hawaii part-time. And she's like, "That's a great idea, Michelle. Why don't you do what Kimberly Snyder?" I'm like, her kids aren't in school. I'd have to find a school there. And she's like, she loves it. I mean, I think it just, you know, for a woman who's 90, who can't get around as much as she used to, you know, you're open to the whole world. I mean, you can.
Yeah, that's my mom too. Like, I think she loves being able to, you know, like when we do talk on the phone, which is rare because she's so into texting, but when we do talk on the phone, she'll, you know, it's everything. We talk about everything she's seen on Facebook. So recipe, anything's going on in the family. Did you see Gina's dog went to the groomer? Did you know, that kind of thing? And I follow them too, Mom. So yeah,
stuff you see, right?
It's a recap for me.
It's a recap.
Writes on Facebook and the regular, like, you know, thread that goes to everyone, "I need help," because she thought if she typed that in, like, Siri would help her or something. And my nephew in Tampa is like, "Oh my God, Granny needs help. Somebody has to get over there. What's the matter with Granny?" Because she typed this in Facebook and everybody got it.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be tough.
Mom texted me the other day. She texted me and she said, "I'm home." She's supposed to text before she drives anywhere, right? Because she's 90. And so I'm like, if you go someplace, just let me know and then text me when you get home. I can keep an eye on you. And we're only 1,000 miles away. I can fly up there if I have to. So the other day she goes, "I'm home." I'm like, "I didn't know you left." And she goes, "I snuck out."
That's
hilarious. Hear about it.
She's a sassy 90. She's a really sassy. maybe.
That's sassy.
She's
I love that. I
she's
love
something.
that.
I mean, she could live to 120. Yeah, she could live to 120. She could really, she's it's nice to see those genes, you know,
Oh,
that she
yeah.
can, she's tough genes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
she's
always say
a
that like
toughie.
my mom really lucked out with my stepdad because he's like 75 or 76 and he's still working. He's a commercial electrician. He's outside every day in Florida. He's up at like
It's
5:30 in
amazing.
the morning. He's at work at 6:30. He works until 3. You know, but he's so good with my mom and her condition, you know, like all the little things he loosens all the caps on her water bottles for her in the
What?
fridge. He like slices up apples and puts some little Tupperware things so she has her little breakfast ready to go when she wakes up. It's just adorable. But and still goes to work. He does the laundry, he does the cooking, he does the grocery shopping. And it's just amazing to me. So I love that
That's
she
for
she loved.
you.
I think my real dad would not do good at this. He would
Yeah.
have given up we're really early on. But yeah,
But
my stepdad's fantastic with
But
her.
you wonder sometimes if it's that generation or just that person, because my mom, like, she never complains. And when she flies down here, she does the dishes. She helps me cook. She helps me with Dashel, and she's 90.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, oh, it's just that generation. They just, work. They have a
Uh,
strong work ethic. And
Doers. Yeah, they're doers.
maybe it's just my mom. I don't know, but she always needs to be of service or helping out. And I mean, it's great. I love it,
Yeah, my mom's like giving that up. Like that's her favorite
Well,
thing.
she's dealing with
Yeah,
something, I
she's
think.
allowed, but it's she does not forget to tell you, like I haven't been in the kitchen in 2 years. Like that's her favorite. I know. I know. Like, I don't do anything in the kitchen anymore. I really don't. I like two places, the kitchen table and the couch,
Yeah.
not including my bedroom, but that's it. And she's got an aide that's
Goes
there.
to the casino. She goes to the
She
casino.
does, yeah. She was there today, as a matter of fact. I haven't worked out a plan with her aide because, like,
Yeah.
the last time I was there, I was feeling like my mother felt a bit defeated, you know,
Yeah.
and she has not. Like, she was diagnosed in her early 50s, and she worked for another 5 or 6 years before it got to the point where she really couldn't work. Started using a cane, then a walker, and now it's a walker, a scooter, and no energy, no stamina, can't stand for a long time. So she's had this aide for like 13 years, 14 years.
Right.
Lovely Jamaican, jolly woman that my mom just thinks of her as a friend. So she doesn't like to ask her to do anything
Oh,
because you
okay.
wouldn't ask your friend, right?
Yeah, sure.
So now I've been texting with Nadine and saying, hey, I have an idea, like to get my mom out of the house. Start slow, take her for like through the drive-through because she loves iced lattes, Dunkin', Starbucks, whatever. Take her through a drive-through or whatever, get her out again. Because she did have that period during COVID where everything stopped. And
Yeah.
her brain turned into a big pile of mashed potato. There wasn't
Yeah.
enough stimulation,
Yeah.
and so now we're gradually getting her back out. And for a while, she was good at getting herself to the casino, getting her scooter out of the van, But I was just there in March and I saw like a huge difference.
Fine.
And yeah. And she can't do those things herself anymore. So she's kind of given up. And that was her last thing, was being able, of independence, being able to go to the casino. So I said to Nadine, her aide, in a text, I was like, maybe you could suggest driving her there, getting her set up on the scooter, bringing her car home, have the day off, and then Rick will pick her up. My stepdad will pick her up after work. And Nadine's like, that's a good idea. She was like, I said, because I talked about this with her and she doesn't want to. She goes, I would never ask Nadine to do that. I'm like, she's there for you, to help you. So
But that generation, my
suggests
mom would be the
she'll
same
do
way.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if she
Yeah.
says, hey, why don't I take you? Then my mom might do it because she didn't ask. So
Right.
we
Wow.
worked it out to make it seem like it's Nadine's idea. I think that's going to be the winner. So today she texted me and said, I'm bringing Nadine for lunch at the casino. So I'm like, oh, that's how they made it work. My mom, because she loves to take her out, loves to take her aide out to lunch, out to
My
brunch.
mom does that too. I
Yeah,
do
they love
the same
it.
thing
He's
with my mother.
company.
She says the same thing. I don't want to bother her. My mom was doing great, and she had 2 strokes last year, the year before last. So she slowed down a lot. She's 90 also. She'll be 90. And she doesn't want to ask the lady, her aide to do anything. And I'm like, that's why she's there. You
Yeah,
have to
that's what we're
let
trying to
her walk
explain.
with you. She's not my physical therapist. I said, it doesn't matter. She's there to help you. How are you going to get walking again on your own?
Yeah.
And she's same thing. She hates to bother her.
Yeah, I don't want to bother them with that. Yeah. Like, you can have Nadine help you like get dressed and, do your stuff. Oh, I don't want to bother her with that. I'm like,
But
okay,
that's what she's
okay.
doing.
It's just, they just sit at the kitchen table and scroll their phones, and then
Mm.
they just do this to each other. Ha ha ha. Did you see this? Have you seen that? Did you see that? And that's all they do, back and forth at the kitchen table. I've been there. I've just watched it, like back and forth, back and forth. And they're happy. Like it works. So yeah, my stepdad's always like, whatever works. It's working for them. Like that's what.
Yeah, really, whatever works. Yeah,
Yeah,
at that age,
yeah. I
they're
mean,
happy. That's
I, exactly. That's the whole thing. You just keep her
like
happy.
children. I mean, it's if they're happy, like don't poke the bear.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Don't screw up the routine.
Yeah.
Speaking of children, your kid must be missing you. We've kept you
Yeah,
so
he is.
longer.
I can feel
Yeah.
him. I feel the door maybe rattling. I'm not sure. I'm just
He's been
what's going on.
amazing through all this. He's been
No,
amazing.
he's really he's good.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
I just heard the kitchen door just opened. Um,
Well,
okay,
listen, thank you so
yeah.
much for spending
But
your
it's
afternoon with
fun. It
us.
was great to see you. It was great to meet you. It was great talking, it was great meeting
Yeah,
her too,
yeah,
sharing a lot of the same views and hearing,
yeah. Like I admire you, your activism and your work and everything that you're doing and the way your mind's working and that kid of yours. Love
I know
him.
I got to tell
you.
you, I rewatch Queer as Folk very often. I go back to like, I watched it for the first, I used to watch it back when it was on, then I hadn't watched it for years. And I've been watching it again. I started it and I don't know, I think I'm in season 3 now.
Yeah.
You look exactly the same. Like, how
You
do you,
what?
you must have great genes.
Look at
Like,
me. I'm like, do
Yeah.
I?
awesome. Yes. It's like, except your hair is long now, but like,
Yeah.
Perfect
you have
skin.
great
Yeah,
genes
haven't
in your
aged at
family.
all. Yeah.
Well,
Look
my
at
mom's genes, I gotta tell you, she is pretty tough. I mean, she finally started to have some health issues in the last couple of years. I mean, but she's 88, of course,
Yeah.
you're gonna have something, but she is pretty tough. I mean, my dad was Mr. Invincible. He's from New Jersey. I mean, they're tough, and I thank them every day for those genes,
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
was watching this morning when Mel and Lindsay were redoing the attic, and they were watching the lady with the pearls that made everything seem so easy.
Yeah, that's a
That's
great
so
scene.
So,
I
yeah,
love
but I had to tell you that I am amazed. You look so good.
I,
And
I appreciate that. I really do because I had my agent came down on me. I had to drop my agent. They were so mean to me and talking about, well, you're getting wrinkles around your eyes and yet I've never had anyone speak to me like this ever. It was just,
Ugh.
yeah, no, I don't mean to like throw this in at the very end, but it was just really kind of shocking to me because I feel like there are a lot of women in their 50s working and they all have wrinkles. And I actually, this is the funny thing is I've always loved my wrinkles. Like I love that I laugh a lot, I cry, I let my
Right.
emotions.
that.
So I've always like really loved my wrinkles. I think they're sexy. I've had men tell me, your wrinkles are what make you sexy. I mean, I think wrinkles on a woman are beautiful. And so when she said that to me, I was just kind of shocked that she said that. And she said, you look like you're in your 50s. I'm like, I am in my 50s. I'm 53.
Yeah.
It was really shocking. And so we parted ways and it just was really kind of mean-spirited, I have to be honest with you, and
It's a she.
well, it's a she, and she
Oh,
also is
that's
in her 50s, and her partner is in her 60s, the
Oh
partner
my
in the agency.
God.
And no, it was really mean-spirited the way that they went about it, and it was during a time of the year when it was right before pilot season, so I had to scramble to get representation, which I did.
Yeah.
fortunately. And the representation I got was better and kinder and lovelier and more esteemed. You know, they were just better. So it all turned out fine. It just, I just remember when she said that to me, and I got it. I'll be honest with you, I'm a 53-year-old woman, and I cried. I cried that night. I felt so
Oh my
diminished
God.
and
Yeah.
hurt. I felt, and I
Especially
also felt it was so shocking that she would
Yeah.
say that to a woman who herself is
yeah,
the same age. And I didn't understand. I mean, she could have said many things. She could have said, you haven't worked, which is true because I was homeschooling during a
Raising a
pandemic.
child. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have no problem. If you say the facts, then I'm fine. You're right. I haven't worked and I've passed on a lot of things, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
I am sorry. I should have been hustling and making you more money. I mean, I could have that conversation easily, but to attack the wrinkles on my face, it just was a really hurtful thing. And it's like the first couple auditions afterwards, I had to kind of like get that out of my head. You know, I
Yeah.
had to be,
Yeah. I was going to say that'll play on your mind.
oh my God, it was horrible. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, get that out of my head. Get that, you know, and I had to like watch a lot of like Helen Mirren and all these actresses I love, Meryl Streep. And I have to
Kate
remember that
Winslet.
I
Yeah.
Naomi Watts, Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, name a wonderful actress working right now. The best actresses right now are all over 50.
I
oh, yeah.
so agree. I so agree.
It
I
was
was
just
watching the BAFTAs the other night when Kate Winslet won, and you know how they have that close up, when they're,
yeah,
you
they
know,
come in like this.
yeah, exactly. And I thought to myself, you know what? She looks better now than she did like in Titanic.
Yeah,
Like she just looks like just beautiful. Like she was just glowy and amazing. And I mean, I guess I haven't really paid attention to her because I always feel like in her last couple of projects, she's really played it down,
Yeah.
yeah,
looked a little downtrodden, but like the character,
character.
right. But to see her all, all made up, but still like not having work done and nothing that you go, eek, oh, look at her lips. Oh no,
Yeah, yeah,
she just looked absolutely amazing. And so I get it. Like I think women that grow old and do it gracefully are, to me, inspirational. You
yeah,
know? Yeah. I just
yeah.
don't think there's anything to be um ashamed of.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
the audition that I sent her, which was to go to a producer, I was crying. I was playing a mom in my 50s, crying, and it was like an ugly cry where I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's the role, that's the job, you know.
Right.
And I've
Right.
never been an actress that was about my vanity. I find it so uninteresting. You know, I
Yeah.
think it was Steph
Right.
Sutton who
Right.
said, you
That's
want to fall in
true.
love with the art inside yourself, not
Yeah.
yourself in the art. Like, oh, look at me. It's like,
Yeah.
no, what is inside you, not what is outside of you. And
Right.
so I feel like that's who I am. Everyone knows that that's who I am. And so I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's just so hurtful. I don't mean to like throw this in. I just
It's
like,
weird because I would think that, as an agent, you would want to be supportive of
Yeah.
your client. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine saying something so negative at this
I think
age.
I think her partner never liked me from the beginning. And I could never figure out why. And I probably should never have signed with them. I just knew that my main agent there really liked me for many years. And we
Wow.
had a
Yeah.
run. And so I think just her partner never liked me. I never liked her, to be honest with her. She
Yeah.
did things I just felt weren't cool. But so it was just anyway, it's an example of how women can be diminished sometimes by other women, you know.
Sadly, by other women. Yeah.
Sadly,
Sadly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always the a man. Oftentimes it is, but also we have to write our stories for each other and make sure that we don't
Right.
diminish each other. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
sometimes
Raise
when it's
each other
friendly
up.
fire and it's from another woman, it just fucking
Right.
hurts.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, that would stick, that would sting. That would sting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I'm glad
so
you got somebody else though. That's
yeah, and they're amazing. They're amazing and
uh-oh.
really doing some good work. The writer strike happened, so things are like simmering right now, but
Okay.
really wonderful. I landed in a good place. So
Okay.
sometimes, as we say, in the rejection lies the protection.
Oh, I like
Um,
that. That's
yeah,
good.
Robert Gant gave me that one. He's a
Who did?
wise man,
Oh,
Robert,
Bobby Gant. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Robert Gant. So wise. Oh, he's lovely.
We
He's
did. We had Scott.
good thing.
We
You
had Scott on the show when Adoptables came out.
Yeah.
yeah.
We surprised him by having Sharon, come in towards the end. It
Oh,
was
nice.
really cute. Yeah, it
Oh,
was so good.
nice.
It was so
I
good.
love them all.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are so tight knit. He had nothing but good stuff to say
Yeah.
about everybody and how close everybody still is.
Oh yeah, feels
Sharon
like
just
brothers
did
and sisters.
Station
Yeah,
19 with Peter Page is directing, producing all that. So
yeah,
it's just like, oh my God, look how it all just,
Yeah.
yeah.
still
Peter
fits.
directed me in a movie, Leaving Barstow. That was fun to do something else with him.
Yeah, yeah. I did a cartoon with Taya. We did voiceovers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. Never really got to like, we didn't we weren't in the same room ever. Everything was all done, online and over Zoom and all that kind of stuff. But it was cute. Like her cartoon character was as gorgeous as her. Like it was funny. Yeah, I played like a fat Middle Eastern building manager. It's like
And she's
my
like a young
character.
Catherine Deneuve. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is, but I'm like, oh my God, the cartoon character is even gorgeous. Like,
Yeah,
unbelievable. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little project. But
yeah. Hey,
how are you guys?
I do have to go. I've got to
Okay.
run an errand before we go to Taekwondo.
Oh, go, go, go. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the
It was so
afternoon.
much fun. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's nice to meet you too. And if I come to London, let's meet up.
Definitely. Keep
Yeah.
me posted.
Go see some theater. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew?
Like never stop chasing your dreams.
That's true.
See?
And I
See?
confess,
We
my
drank way too
addiction
much
is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive.